Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to the today's Restaurant News and Networking Group, Chapter 1. This is July 7th, 2023. We are a group of restaurant vendors who are here to help each other grow our businesses and to help any restaurant owner, manager, or chef who might have a question or a problem that they need help on. We encourage you to give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go to our website at trnusa.com. And if you like, you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe so you'll get to know when videos are posted. And that is Today's Restaurant. And for members in the group, if you have not friended me on Facebook, you can do that, and I will invite you to our private Facebook page for the group where I post occasionally. I posted yesterday and today some information on some new hotel projects. One in Tennessee and one in North Carolina, I think it was. So if you want to just go on that, it's friend me at Howard Appel, and the group page is Today's Restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did I had this prepared last week, but I don't think we got into it. Did we talk about the uses of AI in a restaurant? I think not. I think Darren wasn't here.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I
No.
wasn't here last week. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't
Right.
either.
And you were waiting for Darren.
Yeah.
Well, if Darren and Gabby are not here, I don't talk about tech. All right. But there was an article that I read, and they had 7 or 8 reasons or different uses of AI in the restaurant. I know we talked about, we tried to figure out how it was going to be used. And something interesting came up with the use of AI. An article I read today. The surviving members of the Beatles, Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney, are working on a project where they're going to come out with a new recording with the 4 Beatles. And the way they're doing it is that they have John Lennon's voice, and they're not using they're not falsifying his voice. They're using his actual voice. And the way they are doing it is that they put it into AI somehow. I don't know how. They put it into AI, and they told AI that this is John Lennon's voice, and the instrument that was also being heard was a guitar. So they told AI to ditch the guitar and just use John Lennon's voice. And somehow they used his voice to create the part in this new song, as well as George Harrison. And it's coming out this year sometime. So that'd be interesting to hear. So this AI situation is changing a lot of things. That's only one example of things that are happening now. But anyway.
Howard?
Yes.
There's actually 3 surviving Beatles.
Yeah, who are the 3? I'll bite.
Pete Best, the original drummer, is still alive.
Right.
The original drummer.
Ringo Starr took out.
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
The original drummer doesn't count.
No, he never. I don't think he ever recorded with them. I think Ringo was the original drummer in the group.
He was.
Pete Best was.
Yeah.
He's the original drummer.
You think he's kicking himself in the head?
I think the guy that sold out with what's his name? Bill Gates and Paul Allen,
Yeah.
third partner, and he cashed out in the 70s. He's himself. They're multi-billionaires. The guy's probably worth maybe $1 million now.
Timing is everything.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, let me give you the top 8 of what these people think that the use of AI is in restaurant, and we could discuss it or add to it or not at all. But I think it's interesting. Menu and recipe optimization. AI can analyze customers' preferences, sales data, ingredients that are available, and come up with a menu and create recipes to fulfill those needs. Number 2, customer service and chat box. I don't know what a chat bot is. Anybody want to
So,
explain it?
yeah, chatbot is basically if you ever like open a ticket with Comcast, that's a chatbot. So
Oh yeah, okay, I
it's
got it.
basically going to automate you through standard answers to questions.
Right.
The other thing you could use the chatbot for is you could, in a restaurant, you could use it for reservations. You could tie it into
Yeah,
your
that's
seating and you can literally chat, on availability and go back and forth. Well, even you can program to answer things like, say you have a party of 12 and they don't have a table that seats 12. The chatbot could then say, well, we really don't have tables that seat 12, but we could give you 2 parties of 6 together. Would that be okay?
right.
That type of thing. So yeah, that's where a chatbot would come in, or complaints, to handle complaints.
Right. Okay. Uh, so somehow my report skipped one, but predictive analytics for inventory management. So basically, AI would keep sales data, trends, and other factors to predict future demand for ingredients and supplies. John's company is involved with that. Strategic supply, that may be something interesting for you guys to look into.
Are you saying we have a lack of intelligence?
Not at all.
Howard, one of the biggest questions that gets put out there all the time, and when I ask people what are their food costs, and a lot of people don't know how to even figure out their food costs. And it really I learned a lot about it since we spoke last time from my son, and he said you can actually ask it that. So I'm teaching people how to use AI to go ahead and figure out their actual food costs. And what are their highest profit makers on their menus. And it's working really well with the immigrant population that really isn't familiar with that.
Okay.
Yep.
The next one, John, this would concern you. Enhances kitchen operations. AI powered systems can monitor kitchen equipment, track cooking times, send alerts for maintenance, or when food is ready. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to know how that works because they have to have something connected.
Yeah, that's a big thing in all tech these days is they're embedding, even like my home washer and dryer can tell me when a load is complete. It can tell me, hey, it's, if you set a timer, it can remind you and stuff. So refrigerators can tell you when, hey, temperature's dropping inside, you may want to be checked out. So that's become a thing. And in the commercial industry, it totally makes sense because if you lose a refrigerator, or a cold room, you lose all your inventory. So to be able to monitor that is a very good use of AI.
Yeah, that's been out for years.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
that.
saying. And now they're tying it into, I guess, in the cook time on stove. So if you would have to, it's only intelligent as a database you build. So you'd have to say, hey, this recipe takes X amount of time to complete on average, but then you can track that kind of like UPS does with their drivers. This is what you're expected to be able to do in a day. And if you're falling short, you can hold your cook, accountable. Hey, you're too slow on getting these out, that type of stuff. So it's really getting into workload management is what I would say, more so than even just the food.
I remember years ago, there was a system that came out that was monitoring the temperature of walk-in coolers and freezers. And if temperature dropped or if the compressor stopped, the operator would be alerted. I'm sure John used that. So that's sort of AI, but not in the strictest sense of the definition.
You don't even think of that kind of stuff as being AI. To
Right.
Well,
me,
the
until
AI
Darren
is
just
how
mentioned
you
it,
handle the data. It's how you handle
Yeah,
the
I
AI
mean-
is the data. It's taking that and
Garbage
who
in,
do you send it
garbage
to.
out.
Yeah, well, it's who do you take that data and who do you send it to and how do you prepend it? And, so the AI can be used to take that data and immediately contact the AC company and say, hey, we've got a cooler down. We need someone out here ASAP without
Now,
someone
that's a
having to
different
step in
story,
and do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
When it's communicating with someone else rather than just letting you know. I mean, those alarms have been around forever, but
Yeah, it's taking those
that's
alerts and giving
different.
them power is basically what it's
Right.
doing.
That's great, I think.
And the next one could be interesting for Terry Ark, possibly. Personalized marketing and loyalty programs.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them out there.
Yeah, AI can analyze customer data, preferences, behavior to create targeted marketing campaigns. It can identify customer segments, recommend personalized offers or promotions, and help restaurants build customer loyalty.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you provide can be used for that.
I'm going to show one today.
Okay, good.
Oh, great.
Not
And
using AI, but yeah.
the next one is food quality and safety monitoring. That's becoming very important as a lot of foodborne illness breakouts. AI can assist in monitoring food safety and quality by analyzing data from sensors and cameras. It can detect anomalies, identify potential risks, and alert staff in real time, ensuring compliance with health and safety standards. That's basically, if you have a buffet restaurant and your temperature goes below 165, somebody's got to be alerted to that. Otherwise, you could be getting people sick. So that's the use for it there. And the last one that I have is forecasting and pricing optimizations. Any kind of
Analysis.
algorithm can
Oh,
analyze historical data. We're worried about AI. I can't even pronounce it. Some, like factors like weather or events or predict future demand patterns. That would help John, getting suppliers and helping his suppliers. So the question of the day is, do you have any other thoughts on how AI could be used in a restaurant that I didn't mention?
Yeah, well, one is in staffing. Texas Roadhouse, they're set up with Nextiva, and when we started enabling call analytics on their usage, they saw that they were opening too late and missing out on their lunch rush. That their calls were coming in a good 30 minutes earlier than they thought they were coming in.
Wow.
Really?
So it definitely can help you with the staffing where you see that, hey, wow, here's our peak call volumes and we're not, we're starting our staff 30 minutes too late.
Oh,
And so they moved their staffing up and in their call center. They have a call center. It handles most of their calls. But now they're staffing that earlier in the day than they used to be. So that's one example, right there.
Texas Roadhouse is slammed from the time it opens till the time it closes. Their customer service, the wait staff, second to none, honestly. I mean, it's like family in there. For people don't leave, so they just don't. It's insane. It's got such a up vibe. The way, I mean, it's it's a lower class chain, but I mean, the food is good consistently, but the staffing and the lines, like we always, if we're going there, we put our name, on the wait list on my phone. I'll go on my phone and do the call, the waits would go on the wait list, and they're very accurate. So that alone, you get there, you hit here on your phone, and it's done. It's not and the people that show up that don't know anything about that, they wind up waiting 2 hours. So just that one little feature that they have is terrific. And I don't know anybody else that really does that where you put your name, it's a wait staff, put your name on your phone, type it in, they already have all of our info, and then it says what party, tells you the wait time, realistic wait time. And then as soon as we hit here, when I pull into the parking lot, it says, all right, bring your party up. I don't know anybody else really that does that. And that's a good AI feature.
The thing that distinguishes them is they don't consider themselves a restaurant. They consider themselves a customer service company.
Do they?
That makes
They're
sense.
terrific. They really are. We've never had a bad experience there.
Yeah.
And Howard likes their steak, so.
For the price, I agree. They have a great
For the
steak for the
price,
price.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, Darren, we'll go there one night.
Sounds good. It's right by my house.
I know.
Yeah, we know.
I literally could walk to Texas Roadhouse. Well,
I
I'd have to cross Hillsborough.
know.
It's over a mile, but I can still walk it easy.
We go a lot.
Does anybody have any other thoughts on AI? Okay. Here's another topic that just actually presented itself last night. Terry and I went to dinner at a restaurant that's been in Boca for a ton of years, and I've never been there. I know people who have been there. I just never got around to going for whatever reason. And my cousin, who is several years older than I am and physically not able to walk very well, he walks with a walker, etc. He and his wife wanted to go to eat there and found out that they have an early bird, and they wanted to go to the early bird. So in order to get the early bird, we had to be there by 5 o'clock, and we had to be seated and the order placed by 5:15. So anyhow, when we walked into the restaurant, it was Terry and I and the whole staff, because they open at 4:30. And so when we walked in, they immediately made me feel like I was it's an Italian restaurant. So I immediately felt like I was in an Italian restaurant in the Bronx.
White
hey,
tablecloth.
hey,
and
how
the
you doing?
champion.
You look familiar. I said, you look familiar. Yeah. The post office picture scheme, the whole thing. So they were very, very friendly and accommodating. And they have a huge staff, and they're all wearing black uniforms. So they all look really, they look professional. They look nice. And the restaurant, like I said, the restaurant's been there.
Howard, it was the Bronx. Florida's the fifth, sixth borough of New York.
It really is. It really
As
is.
I said, they have to have been there for at least over 20 years.
Mhm.
So it's been around anyway. And the funny part is that at 5 o'clock, it was like a bus pulled up in front of the restaurant, letting people off to come to eat there, because the place filled up like that. It was amazing.
And we had reservations, and we got in. We were the first ones there. Somebody says 5 o'clock, I'm there at 5 till. So
Is it an expensive restaurant?
no, it's
the
Polo Shop. It's an Italian, nice white tablecloth, not expensive. It's expensive. It depends what you call expensive. It's not expensive for the early bird. What is the early bird, Howard? Runs 19 to 25, including dessert, coffee or tea, and the best garlic bread ever.
I wish the kosher restaurants was secular, because the way last week when we went out to Century Grill, the three of us, we spent $100. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's insane. I mean,
And we
it
didn't order
depends.
any
Thank you.
drinks, even
It
even
depends. It
sodas.
depends where you go.
All right.
You
so-
can
and-
spend
and-
150 on just,
Anyway,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Howard.
the purpose of this whole run up was that in a restaurant that's been open for 20 years, they still might have some problems that are very inexpensive to correct and not realize that these little problems that they have can be ruining business for them. And I'll give you 3 examples of what I felt were their little problems that were easily fixed and inexpensively fixed. Number one, their website was not up to date. On their website, their menu showed that the early bird was $15.95, and in reality, it was $21.95 plus. So, for some people, that's an issue. The second thing is, I went to the restroom, and where's John? Okay, John, ready for this? Mulholland went to the restroom, and in the restroom, when you after you wash your hand, there's a paper towel roll in a machine, and it comes out of the machine. Well, their machine evidently wasn't loaded. The paper towel roll was on top of the machine. So that's a silly thing, but and
Like
the
a
third,
McDonald's.
annoying.
yeah,
You didn't load it for him, Howard?
and the third thing is, I said to Terry, when we come back here eventually, I don't want to sit in the back in the rear of the restaurant. So she said, why? I said, because it smells like the men's room.
Ew.
So it
Gross.
was either the carpeting or some sort of ventilation problem that they might have had that was picking up the deodorant in the restrooms, and the back of the restaurant smelled that way. So these little inexpensive problems are causing people perhaps not to go. I mean, if I was sitting, I would not sit in the back of that restaurant. So that would
Did you
Well, me, I
tell
don't-
somebody?
no, I did not. I didn't
Well,
want to get.
see, now you know what? That's
You're
a
right.
good point.
Mhm.
I got their card. I can write them a letter.
Right, so maybe they're not fully aware of these things.
Listen, I said this is no, I'm not going to say it.
I don't know how you
We're
We're
cannot
being
be
recorded.
aware.
I'm not going to say it.
No, they're just so busy with the day-to-day, they don't realize that it could be affecting somebody's
Yeah, but
decision whether to eat
they
there
opened
again.
at 4:30. This was at 5:30, so it's like an hour into it. That should have been resolved. Not the smell part of it, but the website
Yeah.
and
They do
But
all
then-
of that the night before. Set up everything, cleaning, everything is done the night
Yeah.
before.
yeah, everything
it
was
should have
everything was
been-
great. Everything was terrific.
Howard, you need to set him up with Dwayne. He can go out and get rid of the smell for him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You're right.
right.
I was hoping he'd be here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people are still on vacation. I've gotten texts.
Yeah, everybody's on vacation. But do you see any other easy, inexpensive fixes to restaurants that you would talk about? And this is important, not just for us to complain, but for restaurants to hear that this may be affecting their business in a negative way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think sometimes they need to bring in an outside consultant on these things because you're in it every day. Sometimes you miss that obvious of what's going on.
You know,
there could be-
I've got 2 pet peeves that would drive me nuts in a restaurant. Is number one, if you ordered a cup of coffee and they deliver the cup of coffee holding it by the rim and not by the handle.
It should be on
I've-
a saucer. It shouldn't be being,
Well, if it's in a
Held-
mug,
Serve a
that's the way they serve it. And the second one is if you go into a restaurant and the table in the back is being used as the owner's office. His laptop's there and all his bills are on the table and all his papers there, the bills from FP&L. That immediately to me turns me off. That may be me. I don't know how
Right.
you
No,
guys feel
no,
about
you're
it.
right. No, you're right.
See, in Asian
terrible.
restaurants, that's a very common thing.
Yes,
And you know, it's they just don't have as big a space as they need. Most of their business is carry out, so they tend to use booth. But
Right.
I see that all the time, and there's some really good Asian restaurants too, like the Thai place in Deerfield, Thai Delight. You know, Jack does that. He's got the one table that's they're kind of working out of and doing their stuff, but they're always packed, and the food is amazing.
Oh, wow. We like Red Ginger in Coral Springs. And
Okay.
they don't do that. I mean, they're very classy. They put,
Yeah.
you know, the white tablecloths and decent. And you can
anybody
just
have
tell.
any suggestions for restaurants for quick fixes? Well, I think
I'll throw something out. I'll throw something out. You know, when you know, a lot of times when as a customer, sometimes you don't want to make an issue over things, but you know, they're always, like you said, these little small things. Maybe a restaurant could put out something to, you know, we have all this Facebook stuff and you know, all that. So we can put out you know, feedback. Maybe a restaurant could put out a little, you know, free dessert
Service.
for your feedback or something, you know.
right.
Because people are sometimes people are hesitant to say anything. I know when my husband and I go into a restaurant, he'll never say anything something wrong. But we're not coming back.
See, and that's probably
which
an
I don't
issue
agree with,
because they
but,
don't
you
know.
Yeah,
I-
Yeah, give them
You
that
know?
opportunity. Mhm.
yeah.
You
so,
don't want to
you know,
hurt their feelings, but they need to know.
yeah, but and then sometimes because you know you don't want to make an issue, you never know what kind of response you're going to get from the restaurant person. But if they
Pulls out a gun.
put it out,
Yeah.
but if they put it out that they want their feedback and give
Yeah.
you know a free dessert or whatever, you know, something very inexpensive, then people are more likely to, you know, to do so that they can hear what's going on. Where you
Or
know, 'cause
even comment
be in your
cards
local-
on the table.
Yeah.
Still,
That Terry,
like they
that would be
used to do.
that would be where you could come into it. If a customer fills out a feedback report, they get a small gift, you know, something that you
Something,
could
yeah.
provide.
You know, it doesn't have to cost them much of anything, but you know, there was I actually put something out on LinkedIn the other day because I've been dealing with some issues with me being a customer, not in a restaurant, but in other different things that I've been dealing with in my life, you know, where I'm not being, as a customer, I was not happy, and I'm literally having to battle to get what I need as a customer. And so there was a quote that I found where Warren Buffett said, you could be in a good position in a business and do great with customer service for 20 years. But if you get one customer that, you know, it could destroy everything that you worked for.
Yeah.
So
Right.
customer service is a really important part of any business. And if you, and you know, like one of them, I had a subscription for, and I couldn't get anybody to call me until I canceled it. You know, and that's not the first time that's happened to me. So it was just kind of, customer service is so important. And I think that especially when in a restaurant, a lot of them are young people, training for customer service is a huge thing.
I think you just hit it in the head, the nail in the head. Training for customer service needs to be a priority for management. And I think it triggers from, you know, it starts with the top of the head and it triggers all the way down. Having a feedback survey with a reward could be a double-edged sword, because you also always get people,
The complainers.
the one that have the free stuff, or the comp the entire meal, or you know, the ones that, you know, the negative Nancy's that have a problem with absolutely everything, that can actually overwhelm the staff.
Mhm.
I
True.
have been to restaurants where the customer service is superb and the manager is readily available, where they actually welcome and encourage feedback, where it's easier to talk. I am, for one, I don't, you know, I live up to my name, so I have no problems talking. whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Just 3 weeks ago, when I was out of town, I actually went to, the reason why I was out of town, I went to Tampa. We went to one of their Yingling's new restaurant, and they literally just opened a week ago.
Yes, and it's huge, right?
It's huge, it's beautiful.
10,000 square feet,
The
yes.
facilities are amazing. Everything is pristine. The customer service, and this is where I'm going to. The customer service was phenomenal. The staff was very, very friendly, very helpful. We got set almost immediately. They gave us a great table. The food, however, was horrible. And when the waiter came back, you know, to check on everything, we were just gonna eat and not say anything because we were starving. He asked, you know, how is everything? And I'm like, you want honest feedback, because coming from sales and customer service, I understand that that's very important. And he said yes. So I, you know, expressed our concerns and what happened to our food. Like, only one dish on a 7 people table was done correctly. Everything else was messed up. It was either burned or incorrect.
They
And
weren't
so,
ready to open.
no, they were not. And that's,
They-
so the waiter brought it up to the manager. The manager came over. He completely apologized. He expressed, you know, what happened with the kitchen staff. They were in that night. They were shorthanded as well. So it was very understanding. I understood, and I, just because of that, I didn't cross him off my future my restaurants to, you know, to come back and give them another shot. Had I just sat there and be like, oh, this is terrible, next time I'm in town, I'm definitely not going there. I might go there for happy hour and the ambience or whatever, but definitely not eating there because the food was that bad.
Yeah.
But being, you know, having an atmosphere that is welcoming and is friendly, and it gives the customer that area and space where they feel safe for them to talk about it, about their experience, and having a manager that actually actively visits every table. They sit down, or they don't sit down, but they take a minute to actually ask them questions. How's your experience? Da da da. This is a new item. I see you order a burger. How is that? It's my favorite. Creating conversation actually helps the experience. I've never been to a restaurant where a manager that comes to our table and asks us a couple of questions doesn't add on to my own experience. So I you know, that's my sense for that.
And I'll add to that. I went out with a group of friends a few months back, and it was a, you know, high-end restaurant and stuff. And my husband offered to pay the tip for everybody, and the service was so good, and it was a lot on the order, but the service was so good, and the people, the waiters were checking on us, and the hostess came by, and it was a high-end restaurant. And normally at a high-end restaurant, if something's wrong, they'll, you know, like take something off the dinner or whatever. But because the service was so good, we gave such a good tip that I know that they will remember us, you know. So you know, unfortunately, you know, someone that doesn't have that high end of a place is certainly not going to be able to do that with, if there's a problem, but they can offer something, you know, in, you know, within their means. They still, you know, obviously have to make money, but if there's a problem and, you know, hostess or manager, whatever, it finds out what that problem is, they want to make sure that the people, they can do everything possible to make the person happy.
Yeah.
Then, you know, word goes around. One bad customer can spread around to so many different people,
Right.
you know, or one unhappy, not bad customer, but an unhappy customer, you know, spreads.
It seems like it's the fast food chains that go out of their way the most to get you to fill out a survey. Like, they always will give you a free sandwich for filling out a survey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, the bigger non-chain restaurants could learn from that, the more specialty
Yeah.
restaurants, about, you know, giving feedback, and maybe, as you said, it's a free dessert, you know, that doesn't cost them that
Something,
much
you know,
money.
just something, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it serves two purposes. It gives them data to work on, and to improve. And it also gives them a database of their customers, of their email addresses.
Yep.
And that's gold because
And a return customer, because they don't get their
Exactly.
refund unless they come back.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, so that's all important. Well, I'd like to, John, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just hit on something that is a very big thing in the consulting side of things. For instance, people were complaining that, like, when you get a complaint, one out of, if you have one complaint, there's 40 other people that have the same complaint. And so if you
Is it me or is that, I'm
No,
having
it's
trouble
not
We're having
hearing.
a hard time hearing you, John. You might be too far away from your mic. Possibly. A
how's that?
little better.
No,
No, it's better.
okay. Maybe something was laying on
I think
it.
I think you should come to Boca so we can hear you.
Um,
No, it's still
No?
no.
Okay. All right. Let me log out.
It's sort of cutting in and out, but
It's like you're in a big room and far away from the microphone. You got a lot of echo.
Yeah.
Okay, let me come out.
well, I'd like to do our intros just in case. So why don't you start us off, Terry, and show us what you brought us today?
Okay, so does anyone know how many beers are sold per day in the state of Florida?
How many
John
what?
Mulholland?
Million.
Depends on if I'm in Florida or not.
How many what?
Beers. I'm not a beer drinker,
Oh,
but
beer.
this is,
Neither.
yeah, so,
That's okay. John makes
I'd
up
have
for
to
you.
say it's over 10 million.
well, actually, yeah, you're right. But in 2021, in Florida, 175 million cases of beer were sold per day on average.
Wow.
Per day.
So imagine that. So how do you as a restaurant owner compete with where somebody's going to go to get a beer? Well, one of the things that is fairly new in my industry is it's actually a metal cup that's a stadium cup and this is an idea. You have your company logo on it, and for a little bit higher price to cover the cost of the cup, you can have someone keep coming back and say, and this is a two point advantage. You have somebody keep coming back to your restaurant because you can give them a great deal for when they refill the cup. And then also you're saving on your cost of your plastics. So
That's a great idea.
I'm a promotional products distributor, been in the business, in the industry for 20 years. I love helping people come up with ideas, and I love helping companies grow.
You know
That's
what's
a
funny
great
about that,
Seen that
Terry?
done in coffee shops.
The Florida Panthers use those metal cups now for their beer, but they won't let you refill them because they count how many beers are sold by the number of cups, which is it's
Right.
great for someone like you because you're selling more cups. It's just interesting because it kind of defeats the purpose of reusable.
Well,
I told you the story about my friend who used to work on the beach selling orange drink. He had a tank on his back and he would walk around the beach and sell it for like a quarter a cup. And the boss told him, I don't care about how much liquid you come back with, but the cups, I like you said, I based our income off the cups. So my friend would go by to somebody, sell them their first drink for 25 cents and tell them, hold the cup, I'll be back. You can get a refill for 15 cents. And that would go in his pocket.
There was a beer vendor one time that was,
He's the guy who actually started the newspaper that I'm doing in New York. So, anyway.
Well, my thoughts were this is just a kind of a brand loyalty thing. So you keep your customers coming back to you because you're bringing back their cup.
Yeah.
Anything that gets them back in the door is a great idea.
Yeah.
And it gets a
they're gonna
frosty
buy other
to beer in
foods,
it too, which is
Yep.
nice. So the metal cups work really well for beer.
Yeah.
I would agree.
They work good for straws also.
We had a
All
beer
right.
vendor all game one time, and he said, free beer, but you got to buy the cup.
Right.
Now I know where that came from.
Free beer tomorrow.
Beer, but you got to buy the cup.
Gotta buy the cup. Well, they do that with water at some of the fast food restaurants. If you ask for water, they say, well, if you don't buy the bottle, you have to buy the cup and we'll give you the water. We have to charge, you know, for the cup going out the window or out the door. And it's 50 cents or $1. So you're actually in essence paying, you know, they're not going to give you water and give you a free cup when they have to pay for the cup.
There's different ways to get somebody to come back into your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
All right. Thank you. Mulholland, tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can reach you. Did you give us your phone number, Terry? I'm sorry. How we can reach you?
561-308-1393.
Okay,
It comes with me everywhere.
Same here.
So
I'm the lone wolf today, strategic supply chain. What we do is what Walmart does. They became successful because they hired the coordinator, program director for shipping from Kmart, and they expanded on it. So what they do, everybody goes to Walmart because they can buy the same product for less than they can for the nickel and dime store down the road. So we can save, and the savings due to food prices going up are actually higher. So we're looking at 15 to 18% buying the same exact food. And this is how much we charge you for doing that. We take a portion of the savings and keep ourselves when we pass the savings on to you guys. Easy method. So if you haven't signed up for our referral program, would be a good idea. I get a monthly check from one account I've got through this group. Not a lot of money, but I did nothing for it. It's kind of like our retirement program.
okay. And I say this all the time. In the way the economy is now, I don't see why everybody's not calling you.
I tell people about their group and give them, I know you spoke to somebody, but I don't think that I think Kevin spoke to him. Kevin did.
Yeah, I know Kevin was working with, I don't know what account it was, but I know he was working
Right.
with somebody.
The big account, it's huge. So yeah, hopefully he got somewhere. Yeah,
All right.
they were excited. Okay.
Thank you. Darren, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Darren Gull, Tracy.net. We are a communications consulting and solution provider. What does that mean? We help people save money on their telco costs and increase their functionality, such as the AI we were discussing earlier today. So if you know someone that's not optimizing their phones or is overpaying for their phone service, those are things we can help with. You can reach us online at www.traci.net. You can email us at sales@tracy.net or call us at 800-881-8899. There's no charge for a consultation, like John was saying, and you don't pay us ever, the carriers do. So that's the best part.
Okay, thank you. Gabby, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Gabby with Workside. We are a full service PEO. We specialize in the restaurant and hospitality industry. We take care of payroll, employee health benefits, payroll taxes, workers' comp, even 401k as well. And then one program that we just launched in our company that it's especially designed for restaurants to have restaurants put capital back into their business is we are giving advances on the FICA tip tax credit. So we'll do the calculations and then we'll give you an advance every beginning of the quarter for you to be able to use that cash immediately and not have to wait until the government process that and gives you the money. So Gabby with Worksite, 561-479-7474.
Okay, thank you. John Marinette, good morning.
This is working now. Is that better?
No,
A little bit.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I think that room you're in is got a lot of echo.
I love the Naughty Pine though.
It's the same room I'm in all the time, but okay.
How I can do your promo. John Marinek is a restaurant kitchen designer. He has over 25 years of experience in designing the best restaurants all over the world. He works on major projects. He's very talented, and he can do your restaurant. All you have to do is call him at 954.
817-1183.
There you go. Thank you. And our ice cream catering company,
Yes, hi.
Ellen.
Yes, hi. I'm with Delicious Spoonfuls, Florida Inc., a nonprofit, which is focused on the employment of people with special needs, especially Down syndrome and autism. And what we do is we train and hire the people to work in our traveling ice cream carts. We are looking for more events to do, weddings, block parties, business openings, anybody that wants to bring in more business.
I'd like to add something to that.
Say it, say it.
Yes, I'm sorry. We're going to be doing a series of videos. You'll be looking on our website very soon.
Which is deliciousspoonfuls.org.
Yeah, right. A couple of very well-known actors are going to be doing some videos for us. I don't know if anybody remembers Barney Miller and Al Linden.
Yeah.
Well, Max Gale, Detective Wushu.
Yeah.
He's doing a video for us. He's doing the videos for us as we speak. And
Wow.
also my friend Pete Antico. Pete Antico is a Hollywood stunt man. He stunt for Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino, Don Johnson, and Robert De Niro. He will be doing a video for us. And Zach Gottsagen from the Peanut Butter Falcon with Dakota Johnson just did a video for us. So you're going to see a bunch of celebrity videos.
It's Down syndrome, good friend of my son.
Right.
And a great actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're doing fundraising, of course, through our website and elsewhere. And anybody has any ideas for events we can do, especially the business openings you might know of. We could bring our ice cream cart to the front of their business, try to attract more business for them. And we could do events where either people pay by the scoop or by the item, or where somebody pays us in advance, like at a wedding, and we give unlimited ice cream to everybody who comes.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, 561-676-2078.
Okay.
Helen, I'm loving your Facebook post.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for coming. If you want to get in touch with us, give us a call at 561-620-8888 or our website at trnusa.com. And if you would like to look at this meeting, you can do that on our YouTube page, which is Today's Restaurant. And I want to encourage everybody here who is a member to friend me on Facebook so that I can invite you to go on to our private Facebook page where I post information about projects that may be upcoming. I posted 2 this week about a hotel in Memphis and another project in the Carolinas. So take a look at that. Have a great weekend, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.